about a person in impeccable shape. I mean, this gentleman ran a 4.440 at age 50. He put in the NFL for almost 20 years. Darrell Green, how you doing, Darrell?
I'm great. How's everything with you?
Good. David Spada here with my co-host Elliot Harris. We also have
Hey,
a
David.
fitness expert, Andrea Metcalf, in studio, and she's talking about staying in shape. How do you do it?
Well, primarily at less than 2 months from my 52nd birthday, I'm primarily walking. Do some jogging, but primarily from a physical standpoint, it's that, and then obviously from a nutritional standpoint, trying to stay, on top of that on a day-to-day basis as a person who goes into an office and sometimes doesn't get breakfast and so forth. So I try to stay on top of that. Others here in the office are conscious of that as well, but primarily on the physical standpoint, and not only because of WalkFitHealth.com, but really because I've looked at it and got the data, all of the medical data, and this is what works. I've got proof of it, both personally and through other testimonies, that if you walk, and we set 10,000 steps a day as a baseline, then you cut your risk of obviously being an obese person, and then you cut the risk. If you do that, then you cut all the primary things that can get on you from that, meaning blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases, and all of the things associated with obesity. So, I've done it. I've done it authentically as a football player, 20 years in the NFL, running hard and fast every day, and then as a person who's in the middle age, saying, "Boy, I can't do it like I used to do, but I still want the same health benefits. What do I do?" And I'm not a gym guy. I'm not a stair climbing, and I'm not all of that guy. I'm just a guy that want to just keep it simple, stupid, And one of the ways to do it is use what God gave us coming out of our mother's womb, and that's a pair of legs and just walk.
See, my problem is my walking ends up toward the refrigerator. Do you have any special dietary routine that you follow?
No, I think just primarily is you it's not what you go after, is what it's funny to say that. My dad, I tell people all the time, I'm not 5'9". I'm just shy of that by quarter of an inch. And and everybody said what I couldn't do and how little I was. My dad was the only one that never said that. It wasn't what he said. He didn't say, "Hey, you're gonna be great." He never said, "You're not." And so I think with that said, it's not what you do, is what you don't do. So you want to say, look, let's stay away from the fatty foods, let's stay away from all of the sugars. Let's stay away from the things that you can concentrate more on what not to do, 2 or 3 things, versus trying to have all these million things that you do, because that means everything else is free game if you just focus on these 3 things that I kind of try not to do.
Darrell, what's your foundation's name and website?
My company is WalkFitHealth.com, WalkFitHealth, WalkFitHealth.com. That is a web-based portal supported by a small pedometer that you wear on your shoe 24/7, all the time. It's about the size of a nickel. You wear it on your shoe, and it captures your steps, your calories, your time active, and how far you've traveled all day long. And it's wireless. You come within 30 feet of your computer, because you also get the computer. You get the little small antenna thumb drive, and you also get the mini pedometer. We call it a mini pad. And then you set up your profile, and then every time you come into your office, or like us, as we walk in the back door of our house where the kitchen and the computer is about in the kitchen, as soon as we walk in, all of our data from that day, from all that activity, jumps up on there. And we're also able to communicate with our friends and families around the country. And I said earlier about having experience. My sister retired after working 31 years at the Postal Service in Houston, Texas. And she'd been on WalkFit Health for 2 months, and literally, I just read it last night. She was on Facebook saying how her doctor was just completely amazed. She doesn't have to take high blood pressure medicine anymore, and everybody was just raving about that. I just happened to see that last night. But just by walking, and I'm able to communicate with her every day. We'll go on WalkFitHealth.com. I can click on and see what she does, because me and her are friends on there, so I can see and keep her encouraged or sometimes even talk a little trash to her, but she's always on her game. But, this is the way it is. This is what I have determined through trial and error. This is what I've determined through practicum, that this is the way to do it, and this is what I've determined through the health professionals, that walking and or jogging is your best bet. And by doing it with the use of this technology, you just put it on your shoe, and you're getting a psychological and physiological benefit. And the psychological benefit is that when I'm in a normal life day, I'm walking about 3,000 steps just passively, just as moving from the kitchen to the bathroom to the office to the car. But then when I come home and I pick up another 45 minutes and I pick up another 6,000 to 7,000 steps active, I get a combination of 3 and 7, that's 10,000 steps. That's both physiologically and psychologically very healthy for any human. And so the good thing about the WalkFitHealth.com is that you're able to count both the passive and the active steps, and they help you mentally as well as physically. So it's a very unique and well thought through strategy with this. This WalkFitHealth.com, or WalkFit Health Nation, as it's called in its full name, is a less than 25 cents a day, $84 a year membership, and it's pretty exciting. And people are winning prizes on here, and people are creating challenges and doing a lot of great fun things. But I do it, for my health. If you go to WalkFitHealth.com, you'll see a video on me, and I'm saying that I used to wear this jersey and I used to wear these cleats, but now, because I ran for a living, but now I'm walking for my health, and that's not just a celebrity talking. That's a daddy and a husband, 27 years married, a dad, husband, and father, who is serious about this and not just talking it and not doing it for pay and not doing it for celebrity, but doing it for life.
Now, you lasted in the NFL till you were 42. If you had wanted to, could you have lasted longer, do you think?
Well, and it's interesting you said that the term lasted. Yeah, I didn't last. I played. I worked a job. I did not fall out of it.
No. I wasn't implying that at all.
Yeah, no, but I didn't mean that in a negative sense. I just mean the reality is that I am a person who is conscious of my health and of my body, and I knew that job required my health, just like the job of being a husband and a dad and trying to be here for the grandkids. It's going to require certain things for me to be able to. You have to have your health to be on radio every day. You can't be coughing and bronchitis, emphysema. You can't be at home, dealing with diabetic issues where you can't move. You have to have your health. If you're driving the bus, if you're sweeping the floors, if you are a computer scientist, if you are a doctor, if you are a whatever you're doing, you have to have your health. I had to have my health for certain purposes in this football job, but I also have to have it now in this job and in this life. So I don't consider myself having lasted. It was purposeful. I train every day to be able to execute a job, and at 20 seasons, I decided, all right, I want to move on from this. Yes, I had 2 more years on my contract, and they wanted me to continue to play. I wanted to move on and do some different things at that time after 20 seasons, just like my sister did, 31 years at Maxwell House. My dad did 30 years. My dad did 30 years at Maxwell House Coffee, and my sister did 31 years at the Postal Service.
What do you think of the size of today's athletes? Do you think it's bad for them, or you think they have to do it to compete in the NFL?
Well, I think they're the same size as they were when I was playing. I think, it depends on what you play. It depends on, I was never over 189 pounds. I started off at 173, and I didn't go over 189 at that time. And so, I just think that it's fine if you are training, you're training your body to go and do the job you do, then it's no problem. They have to do the same thing we have to do. They have to focus on what goes into their bodies, and they have to focus on how they move their bodies. So it's all the same.
Did you have a favorite coach to play for?
Oh gosh, I had so many different
I know.
coaches you probably wouldn't even know. I had some defensive back coaches that I've been great friends with. I had some head coaches I've enjoyed as well. So I've enjoyed them all. It was probably more enjoyable when we were winning. The first 11 years of my season, Joe Gibbs was the head coach, and I had a couple of defensive back. Well, probably about 3 defensive back coaches during that period, that era. The latter 9 years was pretty. Wasn't as exciting. We didn't win. Went to maybe two playoff games, so that wasn't as fun. But the overall career was very satisfying in terms of having a good job, providing for my family, having success in the job, and having a chance to be in one city for 20 years and raise my family and have a good reputation among my community and really across the country. That was very important to me, and I've enjoyed that a lot. And even to this day, retired, and the Hall of Fame didn't hurt either. So, but today, this is where I am. It's sober, it's real, and this is where people, if you follow this at all, and I know I apologize. What's the young lady's name there again?
Andrea Metcalf. Andrea's got a question for you.
Yeah, I love the fact that when you're an NFL player, you've got accountability, you've got team support, you've got coaching, and that you've taken those components and put them into a product. Again, you said that it's got support, that you can reach out and, cheer on your sister or egg her on if she's not moving, and it's got accountability. So I really think it's key that you've taken those things from your NFL career and applied them later on in life. So my next question is how many days a week are you consistent with your walking, and can we check up on you?
Yeah, matter of fact, absolutely. When there is, as I do every day with my sister and other friends on there, because once you become a member, you can request someone to be your friend, and then they can allow you to see what they do, and that's really what it's about. It's a tool in our hands. Number one, you're able to monitor. You're able to set a goal. Okay, I want to walk 10,000 steps a day. The meter is going to show you. You can see it visually. That I'm close. How many steps both do I see by number, and where's this meter toward my 10,000 goal? Number one, and number two, yes, I can. As many friends as I want to, or want me, or allow me, I can check on them every day and have conversation and communication with them every day. But also, I don't have to be friends to anyone. I can just have accountability with this WalkFit Health by myself, by just setting the goal and just looking at it for myself. My sister-in-law, for example, she, until she gets where she wants to be, she don't want to be involved in the community of it. She just wants to do it. She doesn't have to take a pencil and paper for anything. It's all wireless. She set her goals and she monitors herself every day. You can also click on there and go 7 days back and say, hey, what did I do yesterday, what did I do the day before, what did I do the day before, 7 days. It's going to capture your lifetime of steps, and it'll capture the best day you ever have. If you ever have like in June 26th, I think it was, in 2011, we were in Houston for a big walk there that we were a part of. I walked 27,000 steps, 26,000 steps that day, 26,600 steps that day. And so when you look on my profile, it always shows that was the best day I've ever had. But yes, to answer your question, yes, it has so many things that is in your hands as a person, that if you're motivated by just being interactive with people in social network, and if you're motivated by just saying, at least I have it accounted for by myself, nobody, I can just keep up with myself. If you're motivated by and a lot of people create their own challenges. We play golf, and then on Saturday, whoever walked the least that week got to buy lunch that day.
I like it.
Okay, I asked Andrea this. Do you hear Barack Obama and Michelle Obama doing this WalkFit Health?
No, the president and the first lady are not a part of WalkFit Health, but they are definitely people, from what I know, that are health conscious. I know that I'm very familiar with her, the garden that she has at the White House for healthy eating. She's done a lot with the kids here in this region.
But she's got to walk more because the one politician said her butt's kind of expanding.
Oh, now come
Well,
on.
I think that's terrible.
That's not nice.
We've got some, one politician said, and when the president was speaking, said, "You lie." I mean, come on. Where are we in society today when we disrespect leaders? I don't care what the leaders, what party they're in. It's about people and relationship, and that's a whole other subject. But yeah, I don't agree with that, to say the president lied in front of the whole world, and then also for him to say that. That shows you how low we are. And then when we see an athlete who does some idiotic thing, we're mad at him, when the type of examples that he have, both in his own home sometime and all the way into the Congress, Senate, or the White House, we have the same kind of bad examples. How would we expect anything better from these young men and women who are out here displaying these type of antics when we've got leaders like that do the same? So don't get me started on that one. That's not from a Democratic, Republican, or any of the other comment. That's sheerly as it relates to just moral and responsible behavior within society.
You're right. You know what? For someone who played on a team that was part of the Hogs, you got to get them in shape too.
Well, I tell you, some of those guys during those years, you alluded to the size of some of these guys. Some of these guys, and it's just like anything else in society. Some of these guys are 330, but man, they look great and they're healthy. Some of them are 330 and they're fat pigs.
Albert Hainsworth.
That's just a different. That's really. I mean, it sounds weird, but you see some guy 330, like, man, this guy looks like a rock. Another guy looks like, oh my goodness. So it all depends. It all depends. But I think no matter who they are, if you keep living, you will not be that young man, that young kid, again, anymore.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Green. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much for giving us a shout out to WalkFitHealth.com.
Sounds great.
Alrighty.